Good morning. Please let me know when you have arrived. Maybe having a little internet issue on today, but please let me know if you can hear well and if you are getting a good signal. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Want to make sure everything's on, pistons are moving. Hello, hello, great, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And we're going to get started in just a second. Hang in, please. Need to do more. All right, we're ready to go. Hope we didn't lose anyone in that time lapse. I realized I had a power issue and I wanted to make sure it was on. Good morning, my joy. Good morning, Reverend Trevor Barnett. Good morning, Sunshine. Uh, I can do anything with the three of you on my side, so I'm ready to get started. Good morning, and welcome to another installment broadcast episode, however you want to shape it, of Thriving Tuesday Moments of Encouragement, hashtag veeencouraged. And today, over the course of the last several weeks, there are those that I have been watching and listening to, and there's been this real push, mindset change, to be careful what we're putting in our minds. It's very easy in the times in which we live to get so caught up in all the negativity that is around us, to get caught up in all of the hesitancy for vaccines and the fights that are going on and the hate that is really stirred up in our nation, to all of those things that we are listening to and that we're hearing about, even up to our athletes who are making the stand that their mental health is more important than winning. And so the necessity becomes that we unpollute these minds of ours. Good morning, Reverend Karen Luckett. That we unpollute these minds. Our minds are being thrown garbage all day long. And if we're going to unpollute our souls, we got to first unpollute our minds. We've got to find some place, some space, some wholeness, some wellness, some place where we are breathing and walking and doing something that gets our minds back in balance. It is so easy to get caught up, so easy to be so inundated with everything that's coming at us that we forget that our souls have to be protected. I call it ecology of the soul. And there are some people who talk about that from a different perspective, how nature connects with our being. And that's true, because we were given dominion, not to tear everything up and ask God to try to figure it out. God gave dominion with stewardship, and we know that. But I'm talking about the ecology of the soul and the fact that just like I remember growing up, there was this Native American, this indigenous man who was walking through a riverbed and looking at all of the pollution around it. And when he turned around to look at the camera, there was one tear rolling down his eyes because the pollution had gotten so great that he was concerned about the land, because for the indigenous people, the land is connected with their faith. a lot stronger than it is with most of us in Western Christianity. And I thought of him this week as I was thinking about the pollution of our brains and the pollution of our spirits and the pollution ultimately of our souls. That when we look at it, when we really stop and look, that finding things like just genuine care for someone else is really difficult for us in this season. It's really difficult. You would have thought that the pandemic would have changed some of that. It did not. It made it worse because we were so polarized. We were so in our little spaces. Good morning, JJ Harvey. We were caught in our little spaces. And so we were internalizing everything that we were dealing with. And because we were internalizing it, we were only dealing with people who were like-minded. And so we began to push back against those things that might have been different, push back against those situations that did not line up with what our lives were. And I'm not talking about us individually. I'm talking about as a nation, as a country. And so the hate got stronger. The polarization got stronger. The not wanting to care for someone else because they weren't on the same political side, or not caring for somebody, or thinking that because I don't agree with you that I somehow hate you. And I know that pollution was pushed. It was pushed in high places. But as those who know the truth, those who are walking with God, there has to be a place where we say in our pushback is, no, I am not going to continue to ingest the negative, because to continue to ingest the negative means that I'm going to produce negativity, because you can't keep taking something in that you don't eventually reproduce. So my encouragement for us today is to unpollute our minds. Unpollute your mind so you can unpollute your soul. Because there's an ecology, there's a crisis. Just like we have a climate crisis in America, we've got an ecological problem in America, we've got an ecological problem, well, in the world, we've got an ecological problem in our souls. We've allowed too much dirt to hang around. We've allowed too much pollution to be a part of our everyday life and living. We've got to learn what it means to do whatever we have to at the infrastructure level of our faith to make sure that we're pushing out and filtering and doing whatever it takes to get the pollution out. Matthew 16:26 says, what would it mean to gain the whole world and lose your soul? When soul is so cluttered, when there's so much clutter, I was talking to my brother in ministry this morning. He said, and we were talking about people in the church organism who are like the lost coin. And part of what happens is that people are in an understanding and a fellowship of believers about an hour a week. Some of us are surfing through a whole lot of others, and I get that. But when you're only an hour a week, and the world systems and the world's struggles and the world's pollution has all the rest of that day, 23 hours to infiltrate your mind. What do you think comes out of that? So we got to do some sweeping. We got to get rid of the clutter. We got to get rid of the mental and spiritual clutter so our souls can be cleansed, so that we can do the work that we've been called to do without what we call the spiritual microaggressions that we push back against people because they're not like us. They don't look like us. They don't walk like us. They don't talk like us. They don't come from our same background. Yes, we have a right to stand up when we are being oppressed. Yes, we have a right to stand for justice when there needs to be a pushback, not only for ourselves, but for others whom we see are going through a struggle. But we don't have the right to meet hate with hate. We don't have the right to determine that someone's worth is somehow tied to their politics, that someone's worth is somehow tied to the color of their skin or the non-color of their skin. We can't go there. That's pollution of the soul. So find it, work it out, do what it is you need to do to unpollute your soul. Whether it's spending more time in prayer, whether it's spending more time, as Marcus Holmes would tell us, on a gratefulness journey, where we are looking at what we're grateful for every day, or whether it's spending more time in the Word of God that helps you with that. Whatever it takes to unpollute your soul, unpollute it. You do the work. I'm going to do the work. We have to intentionally say, I'm not going to live in the clutter that is what the world systems have thrown at me. I'm going to deal with them. I'm going to sift them. And I'm going to maintain an equilibrium of unpolluted peace. We have to do it. Otherwise, we cease to be the church, because we've allowed the world and the world systems. And you notice I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about systems. We've allowed the world systems to clutter our minds, clutter our hearts, and pollute our souls. So, God bless you today. May heaven smile on you. Unpollute your soul, whatever it takes. However you have to go about that, whether it's a mindfulness practice, or whether it's, and look those up, there's several, a mindfulness practice, or whether there is just a journal of what you're grateful for or what you are caring about every day, so that we put our souls back in a place where cleansing is not an hour on Sunday. Preparation for communion for those of us who are in a consistently have communion, so that we are looking at what it takes to be unpolluted every single day. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you. Unpollute your soul, and be encouraged. See you soon.